Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. It's been a few days since I've released any content, but it does seem that only a little bit of news has come out recently, and of course none of it is actually good news when it comes to Xbox. So this is going to be a, well, video of sorts, I guess, but it is one that we need to talk about, one that I'm going to talk about tomorrow in my stream. Well, I guess today when you watch this for some of you in the UK, but, you know, it is a topic that needs discussing. I know there are very heated kind of perceptions around this and views about this, and I know some people will say that they're happy to play games at 10 FPS. Yes, that was actually told to me today that, you know, someone is actually happy to play Stalker 2 at 10 FPS as long as it looks great. I don't know about you, but that's lunacy to me. But anyway, aside from that point, Phil Spencer recently made a presentation about story time over at at PAX East, and there was a number of things that he talked about, especially when it came to games that they missed out on. And he doesn't hold any regrets because he's not a regrets type person, but he kind of wishes that he capitalized on those games, at the time, because things could have looked a hell of a lot different. From the likes of GTA 3, Spider-Man, Genshin Impact, Guitar Hero as we've heard about it, Destiny as we've been told when it was pitched for them to buy it off Bungie or, to buy the IP, they instead decided that they're just going to take Halo and be done with it. And there are other games as well that have, slipped the pooch, as you could say. And a lot of these are kind of now having a really massive knock-on effect on where Xbox is and where it could have been, today. But it seems like the misfirings of Xbox doesn't stop. You've got the whole empty framework that they disabled, and sorry, just turning my fan off. And you've got a bunch of games from Capcom also skipping them with like the fighting games. I know they're niche in this day and age, but there are still those that do, enjoy them and want them. So you kind of assume that Xbox is going to be going gung-ho with all of this and coming at it with both arms, especially when they can clearly see what is going on. And this is why it leads me to believe that the more these things are happening, the more they're actually going to make that PC hybrid that I've been talking about and go about it that way, so this basically doesn't become a problem anymore. But, let's not beat around the bush. There will be very big changes to the Xbox brand if it does go down that route. So it's going to be an interesting time over the next 2 years to see exactly what they are doing. But unfortunately, the Series S drama, especially with some games not coming out. Recently we were talking about Wukong and everyone's saying Sony money hatted it. I'm on the belief that there was no money hatting. I'm on the belief that the Series S was the culprit for this, but we have now more games coming out that are kind of stipulating that response. One of them not so much, but the other one outright pretty much says it. So let's look into that and actually talk about it. But honestly, with the amount of games that Phil has missed in terms of what could have been, I mean, I guess there's no point in really talking about it in, overly detailed in the video, but it's shocking that these decisions, and it wasn't just one or two, there's a number of them that have happened where, the talent for seeing potentially great games just turns around and smacks them in the face. And the amount of massive sellers that they've turned away, and all the ones I've been telling you are blockbuster hits, right? Even Destiny in its prime was a massive hit, and they turned them all away when they were given the opportunity. Could you imagine if Microsoft was given GTA exclusivity, Spider-Man exclusivity? They'd have like the Venom and the X-Men's right now, all exclusive to Xbox. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero would be exclusive on Xbox right now. Guitar Hero would have been exclusive on the Xbox brand. We're talking loads of games here, and there's a few that I've slipped my mind. So, these are massive fails on Xbox. I know we are looking at it in hindsight and there's a big risk, but it just shows you that $1 billion company was willing to take that risk, whereas $1 trillion company was not. whereas it should be the other way round. A $1 trillion company should be prepared to take that risk, and $1 billion not, right? The one that has the most money has the most cash flow, but yet that wasn't the case. But let's switch over and see what we're looking at. All right, so here we are. So here we can see Jay saying, "Y'all still mad at me for calling out the Series S and its parity with the X being a terrible mistake." Now he's actually now gone full S is a mistake and that it should never have existed, and that this is the reason why Xbox is doing so badly and games are skipping it, like Wukong. Well, apparently this is breaking. Dune Awakening on the Series S will be a challenge, says Funcom, so Xbox owners may not get Dune Awakening at all unless Xbox decides that the Series S can be dropped in terms of game support, and that Xbox Series S X will get it. So if you paid for your X, you've basically paid for, well, he says it's one of the reasons we're coming out on PC first. There's a lot of optimizations we need to do before we release on Xbox, but yeah, the Series S is a challenge. So they're going to do their best to try and get this to work on an 8GB of memory. Now I did see a comment down here saying, "I just don't care, I guess. I just don't see how it can be that hard when most of the games come out just fine or have to run on lower settings on a PC. I don't get it." The key reason for this is the RAM. A PC can run with lower specs than an actual Series S. But the fact that they have 16GB of RAM is the deciding factor. RAM is one of the most crucial aspects of a machine. The more memory you have, the easier it is to develop for. The Series S is bottlenecked. 8GB of RAM is criminal, and that is basically why they're struggling to now get this to work on the Series S, and those that bought a Series X for $500 are now essentially missing out. Now this is the part where I actually have a problem with, because if I paid £500 for a machine, I expect it to play the games day one if it's possible to do so. But a £200 machine is now preventing Xbox Series X owners from playing that game, again due to the parity. Now this doesn't mean that this game will never come out on the Xbox platform, but there is a chance that it might just skip it entirely because it's not capable. Now if I was actually interested in this game and I wanted to play it firsthand, I guess I'd buy it on PC, play it on PC, and Xbox will have lost the sale. This is not the way you do business, and this is hurting Xbox more and more. This is just wrong, and Microsoft needs to find a solution for this, and they need to find it fast, because this is going to happen more and more going forward, and the only games that are really going to come out for Xbox, guaranteed legit, are the first party games, which again, technologically and feature wise, will be held back by the Series S because of the lack of memory. If they wanted to do more, they simply can't. The X could handle it, but the S cannot. And therefore, there will be limitations always because of the Series S. And that needs to change. But it doesn't stop there. You've got Enotria now. This one's a weird one because they've decided to go full hack. Now, if you've heard of the game Hack, you probably might have during that whole console warring thing. Well, these developers, unlike anyone else, have decided that they're going to go full console warring and decide that despite the fact that Idea Xbox actually gave them, the platform to advertise their game and help them, promote their game, they're going to turn around and snub Xbox and throw it in their face. This didn't work for Quantum Error. I'm pretty sure no one's looking at Hack on PlayStation. No one gives a crap about it. And I'm really hoping that Enotria, is going to have the same fate, because I hate this sort of behavior. And I don't care if it's for PlayStation or if it's for Xbox. Any developer going down this route is scum in my eyes. But, they said with regard to the Xbox release, we have decided in order to ensure a superior experience for PC and PlayStation players, to reevaluate the possibility of an Xbox release post-launch. So they're not even guaranteeing the fact that it's even going to be available on the Xbox. If they're really successful on PlayStation 5 and PC, Xbox won't even see this in night and day. Then you've got the CEO turning around and going, the context is open to a store page and submission with Xbox Series XS version ready. So apparently they've got it ready now, but we can't proceed with submission and release. I spent a lot of money for porting and they decided to ignore us. Bollocks, because they're already in the Idea Xbox program. So that is a whole bunch of lies. And what's happening here is they've decided that they are going to go down the hack route of trying to gain popularity with the community through console warring by dogging on Xbox, promoting the PS5, and getting all the PlayStation fanboys to become their lapdogs and run around them like little children, begging for that sweet to try and popularize the game. And you know what? It's actually working. Those PlayStation guys are being taken for a fiddle and are pretty much, you know, they've basically become a joke. These companies are using them like a fiddle, and they don't even see it. But you can see here, a game in the ID Xbox program. How can you be in the ID Xbox program and be ignored? That doesn't make sense to me. You've got Ozymandias here also talking about that same thing. Xbox P3, something needs to be done about this. Multiple games are skipping Xbox for various reasons, notably issues with the optimization for the Series S and the communication and submission process. That's bollocks. I don't agree with that. But this one, I do. Fix this issue for the people that spent money on your console platform. That's the problem there. That's where the buck stops, right? Xbox is supposed to be the best place to play games. That's what Xbox keeps saying. But at the end of the day, they are missing games coming because the Series S is the bottleneck. And that shouldn't be happening. Jez is still blaming Idea Xbox, and I really don't see why he is doing that. I know a lot of people are immediately going to jump on the bandwagon because a developer said it, but it's clear that if they actually are in the program, they would have their own channels of communication. They've chosen not to release it on the Xbox, publicly come out and do what Hack did because they wanted the public upturn. And do you know what? Even if it comes on Xbox, I've got no interest. And after telling my son, who actually did have interest in this, you know, the one that doesn't care about all this console warring stuff, he just turned around and told me, if a company is going to be that petty to try and sell a game and can't even rely on the game itself, it means that the game isn't going to be very good and I'm not interested. I'll just play other things. You know, he's really enjoying Wukong, and that's the end of that. You can see here again, Sony with their BS with Puerto Rico, because that's it again. We need more journalists on the case. Sony needs to be stopped. You know, these are now mocking Paul Tassi with his Sony money-hatted Wukong. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see where Paul Tassi comes with this one. Because I don't believe that Sony money-hatted everything. I think that they are struggling to get the game working on 8 GB of RAM. Which is not a surprise and shouldn't shock anyone that understands how a PC works. And guess what? The Series X, the Series S, and the PS5 are bona fide PCs. They're just not customizable in that sense, but they are essentially just computers. Ryan McCaffrey says, pretty damning public statement from a developer here. This plus Dune Awakening devs say supporting the Series S will be a challenge, so basically it may never come out on the S. They haven't outright said that, but they're saying that it will be a challenge, so it may or may not come. Indie's tiny exclusive window, which is anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Baldur's Gate 3 Series S debacle caused 3 months Xbox delay, so anyone that had access to another platform pretty much said, buy Xbox, I'm not buying it now, I'm going to buy it somewhere else. Any Xbox fan, understandably, would be left saying WTF. And, you know, I don't care for what this company is saying because I think they're liars. We believe that Xbox is blessed with a huge gaming community and we would love to release Enotria on your platform as fast as possible, as we spent a lot of money, resources to make it happen, but this task is nearly impossible with the Microsoft taking months to reply to us. I mean, it's exactly the same word for word scripted message that Hack did, and I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. They just want the popularity that comes from it, and good luck to them because they're not going to get a dime from me. I'm adding this in post-processing because I thought this was actually really interesting. And this is something from the actual developers, well, the actual team making Enotria. They said, that said, I would never allow our game to release discreetly on all 3 platforms. I prefer the game to be perfect on 2 platforms, rather discreet on 3. So he's clearly saying here that they have no intention of releasing the game on all 3 platforms, which means Xbox is the one that's going to be left out, right? So all this talk about idea Xbox doing this and that, none of that is true, because this right here clearly tells you that the Xbox version was never intended to come out at the same time. Once we have released the game, we will also get to work on the Xbox version and the DLC, so that we can give the game to Microsoft users. So Xbox users are basically third-class peasants. They don't care about the Xbox users. They want to work on 2 first, PC and PS5. That is their preferred platform. Xbox comes last. None of this idea Xbox. They're already telling you here that this is what the situation is, right? So all this talk about idea Xbox and all that, it's all rubbish. It's all bullshit. Right? The choice fell on PS5 rather than Xbox simply because we have a relationship with our partners in Asia, Sega, with whom we have agreements that we want to respect as a matter of respect for them. As you may all know, the Asian market is largely dominated by PlayStation, so PS5 was the logical choice. So basically, I don't know what they're talking about Sega over there, but PS5 is the most dominant in Asia. They want to support the Asian market. They're going with PS5. And they've basically said, we're not going to make it for 3 platforms at launch, we're going to make it for 2, and because of that, Xbox is gone. This is, they didn't even have to talk about the idea Xbox here, because that's all rubbish. This pretty much confirms that they're full of crap, But anyway, however, I would like to clarify some things. Giamma Games is an independent software house that has never been financed by anyone, including Microsoft. Some accusations that have been made by some users are bordering on a lawsuit regarding this issue. I hope that everything is clearer now and that the Xbox community doesn't get angry about my forced choice. There is no forced choice here. You can take your game and shove it where the sun doesn't shine, because at least I won't be buying it. And if I don't know if any Xbox fan will buy it after this, you basically turning around and spitting in their face and telling them that they're worthless pieces of scum and that, they were never a factor in your decision, and in order to try and promote your game, you decided to lie, create a fabricated story about idea Xbox, and then try to gain popularity through the sheep that are the PS fans to come and console war for you to get this trending on social media like Hack did, and then come out with a statement saying that, well, it was never intended to come out. You could have came out with this first, right? But I guess that would have had the big impact that you wanted it to. So you came out by trying to attack idea Xbox, just like Hack did. Like I said, I don't buy it for a second with idea Xbox. That was never the intention. And as you can see here, in your own words, they said, we never intended to release it on 3 platforms. It was always PlayStation and PC. So, what can I say? But with that bad news out of the way, and I really do hope that the Series S situation does get fixed. I think at this point, Microsoft needs to find a way that any game that cannot run on 8 gigabytes is to go onto the cloud like the Nintendo Switch does it, where if the game is too powerful, just push it to the Switch. That's it. Done. That's the only solution they have right now to stop this from actually happening. Nothing else will actually prevent this from happening. At the end of the day, games like Kingdom Come Deliverance shouldn't have to reduce their scope by 25% to get it to work on the Series S, because that means that the Series X owners, the PS5 owners, and the PC owners are also getting that less 25% experience. And for what? Because a £200 machine can't handle it? Because it was designed badly and corners were cut? Microsoft need to fix this because they're the ones responsible. But anyway, we come over to this one. So for those of you that know, Hideaki Itsuno, he is, the Devil May Cry guy, worked at Capcom, recently left. He's joined Square on development for Final Fantasy 17. I'm sorry, Steve, but it is what it is. It's a Final Fantasy. According to multiple insiders, Itsuno joins his old partner on directing Square Enix's next mainline Final Fantasy. The Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 5 combat director previously worked on Final Fantasy 16 and is now said to be working on the 17th installment of the series. Hideaki Itsuno is joining as a creative director to help development of the soon-to-be-announced title alongside the PS5 Pro coming this December. Capcom is thanking him for his work and wishes him the best on his future career. Source: main thread on 2ch Japanese Twitter and leaks. No mention of Xbox sadly, but it is and well folks, that's the video. I mean, it's not a pleasant video. We've seen a number of games skip Xbox because Phil and team, I didn't actually think Phil was around back then, but it looks like he was. The number of games that have been skipped by the Xbox team in the past is astronomical, and now we're seeing more games skipping. We're seeing more developers pushing away because of the Series S. At some point you have to realize that, you know, changes have to happen this generation, because at this point, right, if GTA 6 is releasing in 2025, which I don't believe it is, I think it's going to be 2026, but if it does, Xbox now runs a real risk. Forget marketing rights. They run a real risk of the game not even being workable on the Series S. And if that happens, Series X owners don't get the game either. The biggest game of the decade, generation, call it what you want, that game is going to be massive. Can you imagine if Xbox owners, because of the Series S, can't play it? Are you all going to still be turning around and saying, this is a developer problem? Or are people going to finally see that the Series S does have limitations, and hopefully they can just go through the cloud route and let people play it through the cloud on the Series S? That's pretty much the only solution that I can see that's going to work for them. Anyway, that's my thought. But there is a huge chance, a huge risk now, with the scope of what GTA 6 actually is. Because of the series, that's when we're seeing games like Wukong and, you know, Dune now potentially skipping Xbox because of the Series S. This could also be it. Now, I know some of you are going to get pissed off with that take. It's a conversation. I can't say it is going to happen. I said it's a possibility. So keep it civil. But anyway, folks, that's it. This will be the topic we'll be discussing tomorrow, mainly in the Discord. I mean, not in the Discord, on the stream, as well as a few other things, like things that popped up. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. But I hope I'll see you all there. That's it. Stay safe, and as always, remain legend.